Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today I am going to talk about 6 ways that you can start exuding more masculine energy. Now, becoming more masculine is a big topic in today's world. I need not go into it in this video, but yes, young men are struggling to find their manhood, to find a connection to their masculine essence. World is very much set up against men. Whether that is intentional or not, who knows, all right? But the sad state of affairs is a lot of young men are suffering from isolation, mental health issues, and just being disconnected from their masculine core. So in this video, I'm going to present you 6 ways which are hopefully going to help you start reconnecting to that masculine essence and holding yourself with more reverence, with more self-respect. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, being secure in yourself, having self-respect. So let's go into them. Now, the first thing I want to introduce you to is presence. Beyond self-respect, people recognize masculine energy in the degree of the presence you hold, okay? So this is being able to hold your attention without judgment, without distraction, on another person in conversation. And a few ways that this manifests on a practical level. One is holding eye contact. You are able to hold eye contact with another person without darting around, without looking away, being shifty. Particularly with women, this can be, in some ways, a little bit intimidating. In other regards, it can be very attractive, okay? Because it shows you are confident in yourself. You are not scared of confrontation. You're not scared of being seen, okay? If you ever notice someone who struggles to hold eye contact, it often can signify 2 things. They're insecure of themselves or they are a little bit intimidated by you. So in some situations, you do want to gauge that and see if it is appropriate. Now, another thing which is related to this is holding silence, okay? Holding silence in conversation, letting pauses be a little longer than perhaps you're used to, okay? Because often the case, if someone is insecure, all right, they are afraid of being exposed. They're afraid of being seen. And a silence in a conversation is just that. It is space for being exposed, all right? And what I notice in nice guys or insecure men is that they're very quick to jump in and fill in gaps, all right? But if you can hold eye contact, hold a bit of pause, all right, bit of silence in a conversation, it can be weird for some people that they're not used to it, but it also shows that you are grounded, you are secure in yourself, and you're being present, all right? It also gives them the space to fill in the silence and expose themselves, and for you to make a judgment of that person. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is discernment. Discernment is basically the ability to see through bullshit, all right? Cut the shit from the shinola. This skill is vital, especially in today's world where there are so many gimmicks out there, so many frauds out there, and everyone is ultimately wearing a mask socially, okay? Putting on personas, all right? Discernment is just being very astute to those patterns, to those lies people tell, to those personas they put on. Now, you're going to want this with people in your friendship circles, in your social life, but most importantly with women, all right? Now, if you've checked out one of my other videos where I talk about 4 tips for dating, I talk about the importance of having discernment with women, all right? Knowing you have other options so you can be in the position of judging them. You're not the one pedestaling them, begging them to be with you. No, you know you've got other options. You hold yourself in high regard. Therefore, you can be very discerning. Is she letting her mark slip? Is she letting her real character revealed? Okay, you hold yourself to high standards. You know your values and your principles. And you are just observing, all right, being discerning whether this woman is of high value, if she is in integrity, okay, whether she has principles herself, etc. Okay, so discernment with people, social life, and in your dating life. Also, you want discernment around products, online products, especially nowadays when everyone's trying to sell you something. Okay, is this good quality stuff? Is this person in integrity? All of these things are going to serve you on the one hand because it's going to stop you falling into pitfalls, all right? Falling into the wrong relationships, falling for scams, falling for fake people, all right? It also helps you in that it keeps your standards high, all right? If you are moving through life thinking, I can choose, okay, and I'm only going to choose things which are in alignment with my values, which are of high quality, etc., then you will get a reputation of a person who has high standards, perhaps someone who is hard to win over. And here's the thing, when it comes down to masculinity, yes, as tough as it might sound, like masculine men are hard to win over. There's no bullshitting them. There's no fooling them, all right? And if you've ever been around like solid guys, solid principled guys, and I'm not talking about like macho bravado, I'm just talking about mature men, all right, who've had life experience, they don't fall for fakeness easily, okay? Whereas insecure men, nice guys, they are easily influenced, okay? Because they're insecure about themselves. They are so needy for validation, to be liked, etc., that they kind of just bend their character to appease anyone or to fit in anywhere. They can change their opinion, their beliefs, okay, just so they are liked by the next person and they don't have to deal with any confrontation. So nice guys are easily influenced and they're not principled. Okay, they don't have certain standards or values that they adhere to. Therefore, their life is kind of just wishy-washy. And you feel that, all right? Most nice guys aren't grounded and they aren't centered, okay? And the fact that they don't lack this discernment means they can be pulled in any direction where the next kind of thing is which will validate them. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is seeking out challenge. If you've read Dr. Glover's book, he highlights the fact that the nice guy's false paradigm is believing that a good life is a problem-free life. And he then sabotages himself because he constantly seeks comfort and avoids confrontation, avoids conflict, and gets into a whole load of mess because of that. Yet, if you're a man who on a daily basis has built the habit of leaning into discomfort, to seeking out challenge, okay? Things which are going to test you, test your ego, test your physical strength, test your mettle. These things build character, they build grit, they build resilience. These are all essential masculine traits, okay? Just think of any kind of figure in history or fiction or anyone in your life who exudes strong masculine energy. No doubt they aren't afraid of challenge. They have a certain resolve around facing challenge. They have a certain amount of resilience and grit, okay? I know my granddad, my uncle, my cousins are like this, and I've been very fortunate in my upbringing to have been surrounded by, pretty strong masculine men, whether they always embodied the most healthy version of masculinity. That's up for debate, okay? They're of another generation. They weren't exposed to all of these kind of social trends. But how does this look like in reality? Well, having a workout schedule, routine during your week is a great one, all right? That is challenging. Lifting weights, okay, this is going to test you physically, also mentally, because you need discipline to stick to that day in, day out. Another thing which is simple is cold showers, okay? This can be up to 3 minutes just every morning, but there you are willingly stepping into discomfort, stepping into challenge. And although it's not the biggest discomfort and it's not the greatest length of time, you do that on a daily basis, you build up the reps, okay? You are growing your willpower. Therefore, if in other points in your life, at other stages in life, you are confronted with a challenge, you've already trained that muscle of approaching challenge rather than avoiding it, okay? And then that can translate into things like having difficult conversations, which might trigger you, okay? So seeking out challenge and having a healthy relationship to challenge is another hallmark of masculinity. All right, another thing I want you to focus on when you are trying to rebuild, reclaim, get back in touch with your masculinity is not letting other people talk shit to you. All right, this comes down to that notion of self-respect. Okay, as soon as perhaps someone in your friendship group or a family member slanders you, calls you a name, or makes some degrading joke at you, you need to call them out, tell them to stop in that moment. All right, you need to basically retrain them. You need to let them know that there is a boundary and they've crossed it. And you don't have to be super aggy about this either, okay? You can just say this from a grounded place, okay? Holding eye contact like I was talking about earlier, and just say, hey, that's not cool. Don't call me XYZ, whatever they've called you, all right? And if they come back with some rebuttal, you can just say, hey, no, I don't want to be called that, and that's it, all right? So masculine men aren't letting other people treat them badly, talk shit to them, all right, or call them names. It all comes down to self-respect, how you hold yourself, how you see yourself. The fifth thing I want you to focus on when it comes to reclaiming your masculinity is discipline. I kind of touched on this when I was talking about the challenge, but discipline is a hallmark masculine trait, all right? Every masculine man out there has a vision for his life. He has principles, he has values which he lives by, okay? And he doesn't sacrifice on these standards. But in order to create the things he wants to create in his life, he knows that he needs to be consistent with certain things, whether it's building a business, creating an amazing relationship, or, getting super strong, He knows that nothing comes easy. Nothing is a one-time quick fix. And this relates to success, all right? Success doesn't just happen overnight. It is built, and it's built through that willpower and that discipline, all right? To go to the gym 3 times a week, every day, whatever it is, all right? Or to get on social media and post consistently for a year, 2 years. And the thing with discipline is that it is tough, all right? We all have that part inside of us which doesn't want to do the thing we know we want to do, all right? Be David Goggins, you call it your inner bitch, whatever it is. Call it your shadow, call it your inner child. There's going to be parts of us which are going to put up resistance, okay? And it's at that point when the resistance comes, which is the deciding factor whether you are going to be a man about it or continue being a degenerate little boy about it, okay? So take the simple example of working out. You know you need to work out, but part of you is going to be like, I would rather sit and watch Netflix, eat ice cream. Crude example, but you get the picture. In that moment, you need the self-awareness. You need the awareness of your own worst habits, because at the end of the day, we are our own worst enemies, okay? But if you value discipline, if you've built discipline, you will just lean into it. And the more you practice discipline, the less that questioning is there. The more you just get up and do things, okay? You start to have a bias towards action, all right? Action around the things which really matter, whether it's your relationship, your health, your finances, your business, your projects, whatever it is, you know what really matters, and you make that a priority, and you lean into it even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't want to do it, okay? So this kind of stoic philosophy where you don't act based on emotions, all right? You act based on reason and what is going to bring you forward towards your ideal life. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is perhaps one of the most underrated but most important hallmarks of masculinity, and that is responsibility. What separates a boy from a man? Ultimately, when you look at it, when you just dissect that, it is the amount of responsibility that person has. And you'll hear this from many, many men the first time that they have children. It's like that was their initiation into manhood, because for the first time in their lives is that they were responsible for someone who wasn't themselves, okay? Suddenly, there was something in their lives which was more important than themselves. And I think that's it. If we look back at heroes of old, these are the types of men who saw something outside of them as being of higher value, of more significance than their own life, okay? Whether it was a cause they were fighting for or a science project they were diligently working on and, in the process doing harm to their health, whatever it is, but they took responsibility. Now, my message here is for you. Look at your life and see, is there anywhere I can take on more responsibility or just start taking on responsibility from the get-go? And this isn't to say overburden yourself. No, but your masculinity will grow with your capacity to hold responsibility, whether it's family, holding a business, okay, doing community projects. I recommend, if you are feeling like you are disconnected from your masculinity, you're feeling a little bit insecure, find places in your life where you can take on responsibility, okay? Because it's going to be challenging and you're going to learn a lot about yourself, but it's going to help you grow, all right? Grow into adulthood, all right? Grow out of your small sense of self, all right, to include other people. Your focus of interest isn't just on me and my comfort, etc. It's other people, it's this project, it's this mission. So, responsibility, don't overlook that one. If anything out of these 6 things I've just shared with you, this could be the biggest game changer. All right, relationship, family, business, community projects, you name it. Just go out there, seek it out. All right, thanks for watching another video. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, like the video, hit the bell notification icon. Stay tuned every Monday evening when I'm going to be releasing a new video on men's work, masculinity, nice guy, all this kind of stuff. All right, thank you very much.